of the 2024 INDY NXT by Firestone Championship brings us to Lexington, Ohio. This is practice number 2 for INDY NXT by Firestone here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Live on the IndyCar Radio Network, as it always is. Thank you so much for making us a part of your morning, day, afternoon, no matter where you join us, either locally or around the world. Maybe at the racetrack. Good to see race fans out yesterday in Davie Hamilton. We expect them to continue to pile in. This is always a very popular stop on the calendar. A lot of race fans that not just coming on, race day, but a lot of campers, a lot of folks camped out enjoying this weekend. A lot of festive atmosphere here at Mid-Ohio.
It started early.
Yeah.
I think they're arriving here Thursday. It was filled up. They had a golf cart parade around this track for the 4th of July. Fireworks went on. It's a jam-pack. You come in today, and I'm sure, I'm sure there's some RV spaces available. I'm just not sure where they're at because it looks pretty jam-packed out there with all the RVs and campers around. With just 2 short practice sessions, it's really hard to do that. So,
seeing a replay of Andretti Global cars, Jamie Chadwick and James Rowe following each other into the keyhole, and James Rowe got a little sideways there entering turn number 2.
Yeah, a little bit sideways. Came up on his teammate. He had some issues yesterday as well. It seemed like they had him fixed. He missed some practice time, but it seems like he's up and going now. He got it going yesterday. He had a fairly good run actually, and then today it looks like Jamie's teammate Jamie Chadwick, winner by the way.
Yep.
Road America this year. She looked like she slowed down a little much. They're spread apart right now, and looks like they're off. Yeah, and I think that the bottom line is it's going to create a big problem at some point, especially with the IndyCar series because they have so many cars out there and these short racetracks. And I think the rule should be when you leave the pit lane, it's a racetrack, and it means it's green, and you go for it, and forget trying to find, slow down to get the perfect lap or get a timeline. You need to do that when you leave the pit lane.
It's a tough practice, but certainly everybody wants to maximize and find that clean air. As we see, Jordan Missick finds the wrong kind of clean air, Dave. That was 4 tires off the ground clean air.
Yeah, so going through turn 1 right there, we mentioned how fast turn 1 is and how you really want to get through there quick, but he used a little bit too much space, went off, got all 4 tires outside of that racetrack, went in the grass. As you said, all 4 tires in the ground.
Left a few moments ago was Kyle Collette, fastest yesterday. He went on to a scuff set of Firestones. They gave those old tires that came off once over. The Firestone engineers taking the temperatures. They did a quick download of the data. He took a chance to adjust his gloves before heading back out. And Kyle Collette, who's had a pretty busy last week and a half, not only was he fastest yesterday in the practice session, but last weekend got an opportunity to run the doubleheader for Formula E out at Portland International Raceway as he filled in for the under-the-weather Oliver Rowland for Team Nissan. He's had a couple of tests with them.
And we got a car, the tire barriers, Davie Hamilton. That is Miles Rowe, who has buried the front third of that race car into the tire barrier. That's going to bring out our first red flag of this practice session. That appears to be up in the turn 13 carousel.
Yeah, it sure does. He looks fine. You see him on the wheel trying to downshift it into a neutral position. Got into the tire barriers. Can't see the damage because the front of the car is underneath those tires and that Honda banner right now, but just got in a little bit too hot, obviously, straight off and into the barrier. And by the way, he's been running good. He's P8 right now in the time and scoring chart.
AMR safety crew is there. Some of their personnel hopping out to go check on Miles and help extricate him from that tire barrier. To get a chance to see the replay for the first time as Miles was navigating that carousel of turns 12 and 13.
Really got in there hard and didn't even get a really chance to rotate or turn that car. Went straight off into the tire barrier. The AMR safety crew looked down underneath that banner and said it's broke. It's going to have to be hauled. So Miles is getting out of the car. Left front is folded back. That suspension's broken. So it's going to be done. The 32 minutes left in this session. By the time they get it back and fixed, it's going to end his day.
Yep, he'll get a chance to go qualifying. That'll be the next time he'll be out on the racetrack unless they can get that car fixed. Again, 32 minutes is a lot of time, but certainly they got to get that car back to the paddock first. Practice back underway. Louis Foster makes a pass of Yuvan Sundaramurthy down to the S's. Davey, we expect to see a lot of passing right in that spot down there heading to turn 4.
Yeah, going into turn 4, that is the best spot to pass and to break. And now what happens is Foster gets ahead of him and slows everybody way down and packs them all up so he can get a good line. And that's just something that he didn't need to do that. He just didn't need to do that. There was a lot of space between him and the car in front of him, which just messes up all the cars behind you. And I don't know. I mean, it just seems like an easy fix to me, but, I'm not in race control. I don't hear what they talk about week in, week out on that situation. But I just think it's so dangerous at certain times to just like Foster, he went right in front of him and stopped. I mean, the last thing Senator Morthy thought was he's going to stop, and come close to running to the back. Has a race win this year, finds herself 17th right now. Just not a good run for her at this point.
Yeah, we're seeing a replay of Kyle Collette hanging it out, using all the curbing. James Rowe doing a little bit more than that. Boy, the grass here at Mid-Ohio takes a beating over the course of a weekend,
It
Davey.
does. And that, coming over to rise in some of these corners and not being able to see that exit it's a challenge. And if you go just a little bit forward, you just barely slide, as we just seen Rowe just barely slid the tires off the side. But once you get in that grass, obviously no traction, pulls you off racetrack, and you just try to gather it up and keep on going.
Third. We're watching Jack William Miller, the son of Dr. Jack Miller, a three-time starter in the Indianapolis 500, paired up with Hall of Fame NFL kicker Adam Vinatieri for Miller Vinatieri Motorsports. Their one-car effort for Jack right now, searching for some speed right now, bottom on the timing and scoring charts, but that is a team that continues to impress. I thought, Davey, a pair of top 10 finishes for them at Laguna Seca was a pretty nice showing as Jack and his team kind of get their feet underneath them here in their first season.
And what we've seen, we've talked to Jack several times on just, getting the most out of the car without going over that edge, and we've seen him in Detroit running fourth place, had a really good run there. Just got in a little bit hot, locked the brakes up, went off in turn one. And by the time he turned around and that mistake was made, he just fell back in the field. And there was a couple times where he's really had good track position and just something happened. So it's just about getting lap time in for him as well. It's just getting him comfortable with that car. Now, you got to remember, they're up against a bit of a challenge. He has no teammates. He's by himself out there. He's the only car. There's no data coming in other than just what he's able to give. He can't look at any of his teammates or the other engineers can't come and help him like we see with these other teams. So it's an uphill battle right now for Jack. He's doing the best that they can, and just if he can limit his mistakes and he's working on that, he'll I think he can get some good finishes.
Session. Haven't seen a ton of change in timing and scoring. Actually, just did. Louis Foster. How about that, Davey? He says, Kyle Collette, I will join you in that sub-minute 11 categories. Louis Foster puts down a nice lap to move to P2, bumping Jonathan Brown to third. Foster now at a minute 10.837 to Collette's minute 10.789. So the track continues to get faster and faster for these drivers in Indy NXT by Firestone. Their goals to make it to the NTT IndyCar Series. From the IndyCar session yesterday, as we see Jamie Chadwick going for a spin out on the racetrack. That is turn number 9. That's kind of an odd spot to go off, but that's where car number 28 has been planted for Andretti Global.
Yeah, it looks like, she kept it running, but unfortunately the grass, we had some rain yesterday. Grass is kind of tall right there. These cars sit so low, and she's spinning those tires but can't go anywhere, so just needs to shut it off, and they'll come and pull her out. Unfortunately, with just under 7 minutes left. Car safe. Here we go right now. Oh yeah, so what happens right there where she went off is through that gravel trap. You see how fast and what high rate of speed that they go through that area. Did not hit anything, but there's a little dip right there, and you want to try to get through that thing wide open. But what happens as soon as you hit that dip, it unloads just a little bit, and it looked like the back end just stepped out from her and slid off that area. A lot of good runoff, went all the way through the gravel trap, though, all the way through it into the grass, but kept out of the barriers in there. Yeah, we're talking about that safety crew. They're already there. They're already hooked onto her and getting ready to pull her through this gravel trap back on track.
Just 30 seconds to go, Davey, and I'm not sure anyone's going to have anything for Collette or Foster here in terms of a one-lap run as they stack them up there through the S's.
Yeah, they're stacking them up again. Foster slowing way, way down, holding up row at this point, and all the cars flying in behind them. So, yeah, you're right. There's only going to be a few of them to get a good, clean lap. Don't think that they'll have anything for Collette. Foster's going to try to, though. I mean, he's holding back. He's trying to find that open space, see if he can lay one down with 10 seconds left.
The rest of this field's wishing Louis Foster would slow down on Sundays because he's won 4 of the last 5 races and maybe not just in practice sessions. But we'll watch these drivers get after it here with one lap. Jacob Abel's going to be the first driver to get after it, as is Yuvan Sundaramurthy as he barrels into that very fast left-hander of turn number 1. Those all 3 Abel cars, Davey, navigating turn 1 here as the checkered flag is out.
Checkered flag's out. Some of the drivers I don't think made it to the start-finish line or the timeline, and they have several of them just have to come straight in. We went out and just weren't. Everybody's slowing down. They couldn't get to the timeline fast enough, and they just have to pull straight in. Matter of fact, majority of the field had to do that.
Yeah, a lot of them heading back to pit lane right now. So that's where it pays off to have the early pit boxes there. for Indy Next by Firestone, as drivers like Jacob Abel, Yuvan Sundaramurthy, and Jordan Missig will get a chance to turn one more lap. So the checkered flag is out on practice number 2. Next time these drivers will be on track, it'll be for qualifying later today at 2:05 Eastern Time. Kyle Collette, the fastest. He wins both practice sessions. Not that there's really much to win. They don't pay any points or money for practice, but certainly a boost of confidence. At a minute 10.789, then it's Louis Foster, Jacob Abel, Christian Brooks, and Jonathan Brown, the top 5. Callum Hedge ends up 6th. James Rowe 7th. Christian Bogle 8th. As Davey mentioned, Jagger Jones finds some speed, gets to a minute 11.548 to end up 9th at the end of the practice session. Bryce Aaron ends up 10th. 11th was Salvador de Alba Jr. 12th was Nolan Aller. Jamie Chadwick brought out the last red flag, but she did get to 13th. Jordan Missig was 14th. Yuvan Sundaramurthy 15th. 16th was Josh Pearson. 17th was Miles Rowe. 18th, Jack William Miller. And 19th, Reese Gold.